Welcome to another Brevis Talk. This past week, the previous episode, we talked about generations and the fact that God said his people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. We want to expand a little bit on this idea of generations. Perhaps you have said something like this, or you've heard something said like this. The current generation is lazy. They have no manners, no respect for others. They aren't courteous. They tend to be selfish and self-absorbed. They expect things to be given to them, and they don't appreciate things that others have done for them. I suppose that every generation says some of these things about the younger generation. But here's a serious question. Where did they get their values, or the lack thereof? If they are selfish, soft, and lazy, who raised them? Who allowed those traits to take root and didn't weed out bad behavior early in their lives? The older generation has to take ownership of some things. I do realize that you can teach and train, and that there are those who will reject life lessons that are put before them. But that doesn't explain it for everyone. Some of those in the younger generation do not know any better. Good, loving, selfless, righteous living has never been modeled before them, and there were never any consequences in their lives for bad behavior. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 9 says, "Only be careful and watch yourselves closely, so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen, or let them fade from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them." Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and following. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up." Psalm 78 tells us, "We will not hide them from their children. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done, so the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and not forget his deeds, but would keep his commands." Psalm 145 says, "One generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts." Joel chapter 1 says, "Tell it to your children, and let your children tell it to their children, and their children to the next generation." Proverb 22 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And of course, the Great Commission of Matthew chapter 28 says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you." Teaching is both commanded and it is relational. The biblical model is not just formal teaching, but integrating God's truth into everyday life, at home, on the road, at bedtime, and in the morning. The goal is for faith to be a living, daily reality. And what is the purpose of that faith to be passed on to other generations? It is trust and obedience. The intent behind generational teaching is that each new generation would set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. Psalm 78. And then there is community responsibility. While parents have a primary role, the broader faith community, grandparents, teachers, and leaders also share in the responsibility to disciple and nurture the next generation. And then I would like to add praise and testimony. Passing on faith is not just about instruction, but also about sharing stories of God's faithfulness and His power, which cultivates praise and trust in God. One day, we're all going to die, and I wonder if you'll leave any footprints or fingerprints for the next generation, in the next generation that is coming along. Have you made an impression on their lives, and have you made an impression within their lives? They should have a value system that you have taught them, and that value system, your value system, should be that which has come from faith in God. Faith and nurturing from the Spirit of God, knowing God, knowing His Word, and then pouring in to the next generation. May your faith, may the strength of your faith, may it go on and on and on, long after you have departed this planet. God bless you. Thank you for stopping by. We'll talk again sometime soon. And remember, be kind. Always be kind.